So the other day, I was browsing through the Steam Awards for the best VR game of 2021, and something struck me that was very obvious to me, but apparently very inobvious to the people making the awards, and that is that the best VR game of 2021 was not on that list. So I, obviously want to take a minute to talk about what I think was the best VR game of 2021, and this is it. We're here in Walkabout Mini Golf. Now, I could hear some balking at the idea that, a mini golf game is the best VR game of the year, but just hear me out for a minute, all right? I know. You see, when VR started, I think we could broadly categorize the games into two more or less major categories, and that is the sort of, messing about with physics things and shooters, right? Those were more or less kind of the first two things that really started to come up a lot. And now, in VR, almost the only thing we really see being developed anymore is shooters. And don't get me wrong, I love shooting things in VR. It is fantastic. Like, you really can't beat how fun it is to shoot things in VR. But one of the first things I was really struck with when I experienced virtual reality for the first time is that it is teeming with potential for non-traditional gaming experiences, or to expand games that don't really work in a traditional space into, well, something that's actually enjoyable. So, enter something that is sort of the offshoot of that farting about in, physics environments. Mini golf. Because what is golf if not systemized messing about with physics objects? Now, I know this is probably a pretty personal set of biases, right? Because, again, I hear a lot of people saying, well, it's still just mini golf, right? And I suppose that is technically true, yeah? It's mini golf. But for me, I've always had this odd sort of fascination with it, and it probably is a lot nostalgia, right? Because when I was a kid, we would very often, on vacations, end up going to mini golf for just to sort of while the evenings away and the semi-exotic locales of, a beach off in North Carolina. And the thing is, right, there's so much that you can't do with mini golf in real life that you can do with mini golf in video games, because, just the very realistic limitation that you can't have people losing their balls in real life, right? You can't. But here's an excellent example. I could punt this ball right off into the cliffs of Dover here, and no one would really care or know the difference, because it's just going to get reset back up to here, right? And I think that's one of the big strengths of, digital mini golfing in general. But I can't say I've ever found, or at least since I was a kid and, initially really enjoyed golfing games back when, all you had to do was a computer with probably no graphics card in it, putzing about. The thing is, there's a tremendously different experience from, clicking and managing a power meter with a couple of mouse clicks, to actually physically swinging the club yourself and shooting it about on the many possible paths that you could take throughout these digital environments. It makes a huge difference. It really, really feels and sells the experience of mini golfing, which I know, ridiculous, a silly fantasy to explore in something as elaborate as VR, but it is nonetheless, at least to me, highly compelling. And of course, what would a mini golf game be if the mini golf wasn't very good? And quite frankly, let's see, probably not going to get this. I don't think I've ever gotten the good shot on this course. No, whiffed it again. Quite frankly, it's excellent mini golfing, without a doubt. Obviously, I am not excellent at mini golfing, but I still highly enjoy it nonetheless. And really, to me, a good half of the enjoyment here is just sort of relaxing in the digital environments. Now, this is a course they added in a most recent update as a sort of prelude to some of the DLC courses that they would be doing. And honestly, for as simple as a lot of the geometry is, obviously this is a game designed to be played on the Quest and the Quest 2. For those uninitiated to VR, those are standalone headsets that don't require a computer to work. I still, nonetheless, find it just fantastic to come in here and just stand around and enjoy the visuals and the scenes. They're so fantastically beautiful, so compelling. This one especially is so incredibly dynamic with all its moving parts. It really feels alive. The relaxing music, the sheep off in the distance, the clouds and the sea. Quite frankly, I'm sure a lot of this doesn't come through in a video, but being here in VR is incredibly relaxing, calming, and just utterly enjoyable. And, of course, the game does encourage you to explore these environments. Now, I'll have to load up a different course to show you this. But here we are, in one of the DLC courses, Shangrila. And, honestly, it's another banger. Like, just flying around this city is fantastic, honestly. Because of course you can fly around, because why wouldn't you be able to or want to? It's a wonderful time. But they have scattered all around the environments little different golf balls for you to find. Because of course you would want to customize your ball, naturally. And there's still a number on this course that I haven't found, because some of them apparently are extremely well hidden. But, let's see if I can find one. Regardless, I think that a lot of what I can point to being so enjoyable about this is just how well they managed to fuse the atmosphere and sound design and simple geometry to create really unique and compelling spaces to exist in for a while. Anyways, like I said, unique and compelling spaces to just exist in for a while. And that to me is one of the things VR is really missing. Things that gamify just enough to keep you here and keep you looking and exploring and sort of enjoying the environment in a way that's a little bit more dynamic than just being in a place like the loading screen between areas, right? There's just enough game here to compel you to just enjoy it for a while. And if it wasn't enough, of course, that there are these wonderful daytime tracks with the golf balls that I still can't find. They're somewhere there, trust me. There, of course, are nighttime tracks as well, which makes for pretty good value, seeing as the game comes with... how many does it come with now? Why don't you go to the menu? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you get 8 courses with the game originally. All of them, I would say, are pretty excellent. The Gothic, I think, probably being one of my favorites. Of course, the Kyoto Valley being recently added is probably the best of the base courses, admittedly. But it's one that they've had, I think, a bit more time to refine and understand what works about making these courses interesting. So since Kyoto Valley is the one I showed initially, let's go look at Kyoto Valley at night. I shouldn't have gone to look at Kyoto Valley at night, because I'm going to do another course in a minute. But we really see that they do an excellent job of very visually differentiating the day and night. It's not just, this one's a little bit darker. No, we see lights strung about throughout the town and a thunderstorm broiling in the distance. Really, honestly, this is just, this in particular is just a course where I've just sat down and had a think for a while. Just sat down and relaxed. Because honestly, I love oncoming storms. They are perhaps my favorite. I moved, and yeah, I just sat down on the floor. Because here we are. I mean, what's not to enjoy? Like, I can't just sit here and soak in this environment for God knows how long. And I have done. Just listening to the calming sounds of oncoming storm. It's wonderful. Absolutely perfect. Yeah. Even now, I kind of just want to sit here for a while, but on with talking about Walkabout mini golf. I love it here, honestly. Anyways, my point was, the nighttime tracks don't just hold another 18 holes with an entirely different set of courses and an entirely different environment, but they are also home to how you can find new putters. Because sure, of course, why wouldn't there be even more incentive? Oh, I've actually not been here at night, this is fantastic. Why wouldn't there be even more incentive to explore these beautiful places? Naturally. Let's see if I can find the what you need to start here. I usually place the first clue just right up front here. Let's see. Welcome, venerated visitor, to the Festival of the Moonlight at the Roof of the World. For dessert, on the last night of feasting, we like to prepare a mooncake hunt. To start, find another mooncake under the Bridge of Lights. So you get these little string of clues that lead you from one to another to another. And again, since you've already played through the course, it kind of just, instead of like the golf balls where there's one on every course, they spread them throughout the level, expecting you to use your knowledge of the map that you have accrued throughout playing it through the first time to figure this stuff out. It's great. I honestly love it because there are so many little details and the environment, so many little sort of hidden hideaway spaces with these little vignettes that you'll notice on your way through the first time, and the second time gives them just a little bit of context and sort of understanding to why they're there and what's going on in the environment, and I absolutely love it. It's why this is more than just a golf game. It is a golf game, and the golf is excellent. But honestly, I could, go on about the golf for a while, and I probably will for a little bit. But really, it's just existing in the environments with just the faintest veneer of there being a thing to do here that keeps me so compelled in what's going on. And it's probably why I've played this as much, if not more, than any other VR game this year. Pretty easily, honestly. Let's see. I assume this would be the Bridge of Lights. Oh, no, it's just on top there. The full moon, the scent of sacred oil, and the floating lights brighten my spirit, so look next to the sand under a string of 8 hanging lanterns. You get the idea. I also like that each course essentially has a central idea or gimmick. This one being these sort of sandy surfaces that vastly increase the grip of the ball, that the course is very smartly used, sometimes as a break at the end of a long drop where otherwise if you hit it too hard your ball would just go flying off into the hills. And sometimes it's used as a hazard that you need to avoid, like down here, of course, in this course we can see that it would be very difficult to make it through these bit of blocks without, slamming into them without properly managing the force. And I want to point out that the hard courses are genuinely very hard. I don't typically find it hard to get, a good couple under par on most of the normal courses, but the hard ones, I really struggle to even get par on. They're really so fun to play through. God, this game is so good. So yeah, I mean, when I look at what VR is missing, it is things like this. Just things that prompt you to stand here and enjoy it for a little while. Because, don't get me wrong, I've been playing, what's the name of it? What's that game? After the Fall. After the Fall recently released, basically Left 4 Dead in VR. Don't get me wrong, After the Fall is great. It's a great time. I've been playing it in VR, having great time shooting zombies and shooting more zombies and then going out and getting loot and shooting more zombies. And, games like Half-Life Alyx and all that are absolutely wonderful. And I want to see more games like that in the space too, but I really, really want to see people exploring more, like, they have here with Walkabout Mini Golf, because honestly, it's just amazing. It's just a fantastic time, and I couldn't recommend it more. If you have VR at all, this is where it's at, honestly. And yeah. If just looking at this can't compel you, I don't know what would. Honestly, I don't know what would. So yeah, that's pretty much my short thoughts on Walkabout Mini Golf. I know that this probably isn't going to be a very long video, especially compared to what I normally put out, and it's a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more improvisational, but I just thought I would try getting something like this done. I know I haven't put anything out in a bit, and I'm working on Nier Automata right now, and boy, that's a game. That is a dense game. That is very, I bet I'm having to do a lot of research, do a lot of work to try and figure it out, and oof. It is, it's difficult. I think there are definitely things in Nier Automata that are interesting that I don't see a lot of people point on, because I think a lot of people tend to look at, in Nier Automata, the obvious philosophical implications that are in Nier Automata. But I think that I've found some things that aren't typically looked at as part of the game that seem to me to be very core to it, that most people kind of ignore. And I am really looking forward to putting that out, but boy is it kicking my ass right now. It's hard to write. And that's partially why I'm here. I kind of, enjoying the space, working through a bit of a writer's block, just having a good time, honestly. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it off. Yeah, just if you enjoyed this, appreciate you watching it, and yeah, hope you have a great day.